Welcome to the Condé Nast Traveller Dine and Drink Festival, a special event where we're chatting with the best in the business. I'm Smita Menon, the culinary editor at Condé Nast Traveller India. And thank you so much for joining us. The last few years have changed the where, how, and what of dining and drinking for all of us. The F&B industry has gone through some massive upheaval, and with the upheaval has come change. While diners have always eaten with their eyes, the popularity of social media has made flawless food presentation the expectation for the dining experience. According to a study by a consumer intelligence firm, 69% of people take a photo or video before eating. The benefits of Instagram for restaurants and for food businesses has impacted not just food presentation, but also restaurant design and concept. Today, I have three very cool people who are driving that change and innovation we're seeing online in the food space. They're engaging with audiences in different ways. They're inspiring people to begin their cooking and baking journeys and using tech and data to create clutter-breaking concepts. I have Zorawar Kalra, the founder and MD of Massive Restaurants, who runs chains such as Farzi Cafe and Masala Library. There's also food author, content creator, and food writer, Shivesh Bhatia. And last but not the least is another multi-hyphenate, Pooja Dhingra, who's the cookbook author and the creative genius behind Love 15 Patisserie. Welcome all of you, and thank you so much for being on the CNT Dine and Drink Festival. Like I mentioned, the past couple of years has changed everything about the way we interact with food. What I found interesting is that the at-home dining experience was suddenly elevated, and with that, the role of Instagram and food marketing has become more pronounced. Pooja, I want to talk to you about how this all started. You started reaching out to your community online by asking them to name products on Instagram. You do polls, you promoted your cookbook. And I think you also used Instagram to raise funds for your staff at Love 15 Cafe. So obviously people on the outside would say that Instagram is fairly essential to your business. But do you see it that way?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I feel like I call Instagram my personal genie. And every time I feel like I need help, I'm always reaching out and asking for help for something or the other. And I just feel like it's a great place. It's been a great place for me to kind of meet cool people, interact with them, interact with my customers, etc. And the thing is that I've been doing it for so long that I think it's been almost over a decade now. And I think that, so at Love 15, we've always kind of used it as a tool because it was always present for us. Whether it was creating the pink latte at the cafe, which was, pre-COVID, or doing really fun stuff, naming our menus, curating all these new things that we do on the platform versus I just tell them that they should just give me stake in the company and I should just promote. I remember telling everyone years ago, you should, use Instagram for business. And it's been great to see that, but especially with COVID coming in, like you said, the ability to actually launch a cookbook online in 2 weeks after we had to shut the cafe down and selling thousands and thousands of copies of it actually gave us momentum and gave us the capital that we needed to keep our business going. So, to see the effects in real time and actually see change happen really fast and not just talk about it, but to actually see where the money is at, that's been quite exciting also.
And Shivesh, when you started out, Instagram was just this random app with big pictures, no captions, bad filters. And obviously a lot of things have changed since then. You've been creating incredible content. Instagram featured you and your creations. So talk to me about how the way you use Instagram has changed.
When I started out, I actually completely missed out on the social aspect of it being a social media platform. I just thought it's an editing application. And I just thought nobody can see what I'm putting out because I thought it's just something that I'm editing it and it's there on my phone. So I remember my first post on Instagram, which has now been removed, was a picture of an aloe vera plant. And I just captioned it saying my favorite plant just because I thought that nobody else can see it. And then, of course, for the longest time, it was just a random collection of my selfies and pictures of random dogs on the street and just things that I would do in college, along with a lot of pictures of the desserts that I would bake in my kitchen. And then I realized that over time, those posts started getting a response outside my immediate friend circle, who I would just tell, okay, just like my picture and all of that. So it was going beyond that circle, and I realized that, okay, this could be a platform where I could reach out to people that I don't know or can't physically meet. So that's how it actually started. And now, of course, over time, it has become, my main source of revenue, my profession, something that I do full time. So yeah, it's I feel like I've come a long way on the platform, and what the platform means to me has changed incredibly over the last 7 years that I've been on it.
And what's incredible is that, I mean, the two of you and also Zorawar have been able to rally up and create a sort of community of food lovers that, talk not only about cupcakes or baking or food, but it's sort of extended into a sort of online support group of sorts who get in touch with each other for all kinds of things. So
family, like I think Shivesh, didn't we meet on Instagram like 8 years ago?
Yeah, correct.
He was awesome.
It was like actually my first ever trip to Bombay, and I had gone to Law 15 and just posted a picture of the macarons, and that time Pooja had then gotten in touch saying that if you're around, just drop by the studio. So yes, we did meet on Instagram.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's like an ad for Instagram right there.
Yeah.
But Zorawar, I want to talk to you. You created a viral storm earlier this year with your delivery brand Louis Burger. The truffle take burger with mushrooms and shiitake mushrooms and truffle and gold wort on the bun was something that sort of took the interwebs by storm. If you hadn't eaten it, if you hadn't posted a picture of that burger, you had major FOMO. So talk to me about like how you created this burger and the brand. I know it came from the pandemic, but did you want to create this level of excitement? Was that the goal? What were you sort of going for with this burger?
Well, let me preface everything by saying that Instagram is a food professional's best friend. While Pooja and Shivesh were meeting up on Instagram 8 years ago, I was still holding on for dear life onto Facebook because I didn't want that. I didn't want to get onto a new platform. I was having fear of getting onto a new platform. But I think Instagram is truly something that has changed the game. When we're thinking of Louis Burger, we actually wanted to create a product. We actually wanted to work on Louis Burger for a long time. We've been working on it for, maybe over a year before we even started it. But the COVID gave us the opportunity to kind of, pivot, refocus our energies and look at the virtual restaurant space. Before April of 2021, we didn't do any kind of delivery. I mean, we were purely a dine-in experience-based format company, and we loved it. But the COVID and the ambiguity that it got along with it kind of made us think about the online space and the cloud space. And now it's literally, I'm not kidding when I say that almost 50% of my personal bandwidth is now occupied with our cloud business. And we're just at the tip of the iceberg. I think India is going to boom. The entire online space is going to grow very quickly, and Instagram is going to be the best tool that people can use and the most effective tool, and arguably the best ROI, the best return on investment tool that you can have to promote your business. Because unlike in physical spaces, virtual restaurants don't have a physical facade, right? They only have a digital facade, and the digital facade is via Instagram. And if you are able to connect with your consumer, if you're able to create very good, lively content that people find exciting, and of course, if you have a very technical and well-made digital campaign, you can actually spread the word about a virtual restaurant faster than a physical one. So I think Instagram provides you that access. It's a fabulous tool. Look at the kind of value it can add for smaller businesses, which cannot spend on say the traditional forms of marketing. In fact, if you really look at the efficacy of advertising campaigns, you'll find that practically, for example, in our company, 100% of our marketing budget is now towards only digital marketing. We don't do any form of traditional marketing anymore. We don't think it's giving the ROIs that we need. And, you can track it. It's so beautiful. I, in fact, did a little bit of a deep dive into the funnel of Louis Burger, and I found that in some parts of Delhi, we just launched in Delhi recently, that 18 to 25-year-olds are not ordering from us. And that's the biggest demographic at Instagram. Mm-hmm. So we immediately created some new products, and we found that, hey, you can start making a product that's perhaps a little bit more affordable, a little bit more accessible for the younger kids that can't afford to have a 500 rupee burger. Well, create something a little cheaper. So I think, all of that is fine, using it as a tool to market your product. But the beauty of Instagram is that it's a very positive space. It doesn't have any of the toxicity of Twitter. Twitter is a war zone, and Facebook too. Some dark parts of Facebook exist, but Instagram is a happy place. People are usually positive. People share good images. It's a positive, healthy environment in which to partake and to expose the world to your business. So from that perspective, I think Instagram is the finest tool. It is a great platform. It's good for personal consumption, but it's absolutely epic for business.
It's so interesting that you said that. And Pooja, I want to talk to you about the spectacle aspect of food. So obviously, Instagram incentivizes us to post pictures of beautiful things, and so to a certain extent, you're driven to consume visually, as opposed to any of your senses. So do you think that there's that people are losing out a little bit in terms of the genuine IRL experience when it comes to enjoying a cupcake, because you have to take a picture of it before you eat it, right?
You're asking the wrong person.
That's why I'm asking you.
No, I feel like, when we were in culinary school as well, right? Our chefs would tell us, especially for pastry, the rule is that you eat with your eyes first. And, so whenever you make anything, someone's going to look at it and buy it because of the way it looks on the shelf. So just think of the Instagram screen being as an extension of your pastry shelf, right? Like that's what you'd want people to look at. And I think that
Right.
it's fine that if you don't enjoy the product, if you're going to buy something because you've seen how it looks online, but when you taste it and consume it, you don't enjoy it, that's it, right? You're not going to come back. So I feel like as restaurant owners and chefs, etc., you want to make products that not only have that kind of spectacle, because that will drive people to try it, but as a chef, I think my focus is also to make sure that the whole experience, taste, consumption is great so that people keep coming back. And it's not only that this is some glitter coffee and once you see it, you don't want to have it after that. So that's my perspective on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And what do you think, Shivesh?
No, I completely agree to the first part as well, because I think even before Instagram, I've always taken pictures of the food that I eat. I never do anything with it. Even now, I might not post a lot of it on Instagram or anywhere on social media for that matter. Just something that I really like doing and documenting just for myself, especially when I'm traveling or if I'm, trying something new. I love to photograph it before I actually eat it. So for me, it just kind of has been a part of the experience even before Instagram came into the picture. And I also do agree to the second part of it, that at the end of it, you can use it as a tool to just create hype. But at the end of the day, the product should be something that the consumers come back to. And that's something that even with the work that I do, I've experienced that for me, styling the dessert and photographing it well so that it looks great is extremely important. Because I feel like it kind of builds certain amount of appeal around the recipe. And I feel that if the picture looks good, the audience is also encouraged to try out the recipe. There's just some kind of a trust factor linked to a dessert looking good. However, I also completely understand that if somebody tries out a recipe that looks good, but it doesn't turn out well, they'll maybe just give it, one more shot and try another recipe from my blog. But even if that doesn't work, no matter how good the third one looks, I don't think they'd be ready to kind of put in that kind of time or, even get ingredients to make that recipe. So at the end of it, it's kind of, great to pull the audience in for once, but then to kind of have them stick around for you, you need to also deliver in terms of the quality of the product or the recipe or anything that you're selling.
Instagram has become more refined and more evolved as the years are passing by. Do you find it harder? Do you find yourself working harder to innovate and create a wow factor in a way that feels authentic? Because let's face it, a lot of people on Instagram are fatigued from looking at so many food pictures and all of that. Right? So, do you find that hard as a creator?
I think it's also extremely dynamic, and what I also honestly for me, the toughest part is to keep up with the changes that keep coming and the formats, how they keep changing every single time. The minute that I think that, okay, people are leaning in towards a long form video where I can actually talk about the recipe in detail, boom, you have reels, and now you only have 30 seconds to, show the same recipe. And now apparently people don't have this attention span to watch a long video. So nobody's going to watch your IGTV. And 2 months later, there's no concept of an IGTV video. So I think I kind of struggle with keeping up with that and how you can, continuously repackage your content to fit the format that the platform is pushing. So that bit I feel like is a little hectic when it comes to keeping up. But at the end of the day, I kind of focus on bringing something fresh to the table and also kind of achieving that balance with introducing new things and also delivering what people are searching for. So I think for me, achieving that balance is also extremely important on a platform like Instagram.
Right. And speaking of balance, Zorawar, I want to speak to you. So earlier restaurants would say, if the product is good, if the food is good, people will come. But now when a new brand launches, there's a very clear PR activation, right? And everyone receives some kind of box or parcel, and there's this full unboxing ritual that we see on Instagram. But at the end of the day, of course, brands say that they want to, it doesn't matter who they engage with, but they want real people to engage with their brands. But then they also say that they want numbers. So that's a bit of a dichotomy. So how do you, when it comes to you choosing influencers who you want to work with for your brands, do you have certain criteria or parameters that you work with?
Yeah. So the box thing we did many years ago. We kind of stopped doing that. Now I think now it's all about saving that resource and perhaps giving them a better experience when they come to your restaurant. I think the influencer side of things for the restaurant business in general has become extremely important. And I don't think it's a bad thing. A lot of people say, they're, you're calling people to promote the business. Well, how else are you going to do it? If you have something nice, for example, even a new menu launch, how are you going to let people know that you've done a new menu launch? Not everybody follows you on your page. You have to access people, the right people that fit your brand. I have a plethora of brands, all kinds of wallet sizes we attract. So we obviously choose based on what the brand demands. Lifestyle concepts of ours will probably also involve fashion bloggers to come in and review the food. Now, we're not calling them necessarily for their feedback, but we're calling them so they can spread the word. But the food bloggers or the food journalists or the food specialists are the ones we call to actually get feedback, hard feedback. How do you like this new thing we've done? Do you think it's too much? Do you think something can change? So it's kind of, it has to be used as per the brand's parameters, as per the brand itself. But I think it's important to utilize the influencers. There's nothing wrong in what they do. I think think about Instagram. I mean, somebody's coming to your restaurant. All you did is give them a meal and look at the ROI on that. Hundreds of thousands of impressions on your food. So many people got to know about it. And what did you do? You just bought them dinner. So I think it's the best way to promote the business nowadays. Like I said, traditional forms of marketing don't work. Instagram is the key. Facebook is the key. You utilize these and harness these properly, but you got to be careful about who you're inviting. Sometimes some influencers can perhaps not have a positive effect if they're not either, there are reputational aspects as well. But what if, you're getting somebody who is more of a street food kind of a, blogger, and they come and make a video or a piece on your brand, and you're a fine dining, Japanese restaurant. How are you there's a dichotomy there. So it probably won't work. So you have to be careful. But in general, I am all for this influencer-based marketing. I think it's very cost effective. It's got good ROIs, and it helps you spread the word. And what's wrong with it? Absolutely.
And Pooja, I want to get your thoughts on this. You, of course, run your own business, but you're also a content creator and an influencer by default. So obviously, you get approached by brands for campaigns. After the pandemic, do you find a change in the way brands are approaching you in terms of what they want to do or how they want to interact with you? Earlier, of course, they just give you, from what I understand, they would just give you a set message to sort of give out, and then that was it, right? But are they now open to collaborating more with you and understanding?
Yeah, 100%. I think Shivesh would probably agree with this as well. So I feel like after the pandemic and last year in March, everyone started moving digital, and everyone's ad campaigns, etc. digital. And I think brands also realizing now that each influencer has an authentic voice and the way that they interact with their audience. So instead of just giving them a script and saying, do this, it's very collaborative now. So the brand will actually reach out and say, hey, this is what we want to do, and this is the kind of show. For example, if I did something for, say, Netflix recently about a new show that came out, they reached out and said, hey, this is a show and this is what the main character is facing. Can you relate a story from your life that matches with that we can then use as the campaign? Right. And so it's pretty seamless in that manner, and it's personalized, and it doesn't just seem like, hey, buy this. It's actually like, and I see a lot of the content that Shivesh creates also is very personal and from his life. So I think that has definitely been a big shift, because nobody just wants to see branded content with someone just standing there and showing you a product, but actually how can you use it, what is so good about it, and how it's actually, your audience kind of relates to, you based a community on your kind of voice, and they expect certain things from you. So I think brands also know how to leverage that now.
Right. And Shivesh, when it comes to promoting a brand online, how do you find a way to do it in a way that feels most genuine to you?
I think the first step for me, of course, is understand that if the brand is reaching out to me, they kind of do see a synergy. But I think I do that check from my end as well. If it's a brand that is getting in touch, do I relate to the brand? Do I relate to the product? Is it something that I would feel comfortable promoting? That for me is the first check. Then, of course, as Pooja said, I see that a lot of brands are becoming more aware of giving some amount of creative freedom. But unfortunately, I feel there's still, a few brands that don't understand it. And Pooja and I have discussed a lot of scripts that, come to us, which are expected to, be followed word to word, which kind of becomes.
But we change it.
It's a struggle because then you kind of have to push from your end. And I just feel that a lot of brands like Netflix do kind of give you that creative freedom where they're okay with you doing whatever. And I personally do feel that those kind of campaigns turn out to be the best also in terms of me enjoying executing them and also how they're received by anybody who's consuming it. But so that part is always a struggle. If there's a brief that where they want me to do the hook step or they want me to dance or like break out into a dance while I'm decorating a cake kind of for this thing, I unfortunately don't. I don't feel there's anything wrong with it. For those who feel comfortable enough, why not? I unfortunately don't. And a lot of briefs for some reason that come to me these days involve a lot of dancing. So I kind of do lose out on that as well. So there's actually a lot of these checks that I've made for myself. And if it all fits, then, why not? Then I go ahead and do the campaign.
So are you taking dance classes now?
I think I really need to. If I want to make more money, I probably need to.
I wonder if I call him to review Made in Punjab, will he have to learn Kalra?
Followed by a performance. Yeah, it seems to be a very attractive this thing for a lot of brands these days somehow.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Okay, great. We're almost coming to the end, and we're going to play a little game. But before that, I just want to know one tip. If you had to give a tip to someone who is starting out, didn't really know what to do and how to navigate this wonderful and weird world of Instagram, what would your one tip from each of you be to them? I will start with you, Zorawar.
Focus on the content. How engaging the content is. If you make good content, you'll have a lot of organic outreach, and the efficacy of each post is great, right? You can notice that, I'm sure. And Pooja and Shivesh are content creators. I'm not a content creator for Instagram at all, so they would be able to give better inputs on this. But it's all about the content. Why Louis became so popular and so viral so quickly is also because of the shoot with it. I mean, we made it very rustic. There was nothing in that photo except the burger and somebody's hands with black gloves, and that's it. Every single shot, every single video was zoomed in onto the food, and we said, listen, we're going to make a Insta handle that makes people hungry. It makes the salivatory glands start working. You start craving the food. And I think that's, as long as you're focused onto a type of content, then stick to that. Suddenly now, if I start putting McDonald's type of shots, which are beautifully artfully done on my Louis Burger page, it'll start looking disjointed. So focus on the content, stick to it, stick to your guns. And if you make engaging content, you'll have a lot of organic outreach, and that's the most effective form of outreach.
Super. Pooja?
So I'll take this from two perspectives. One is from personally what I do for myself is just I try to be as authentic as possible and try to be consistent. I think that's very crucial. So starting something and then stopping midway. I know when I started using Instagram, my friends had to tell me to calm down and stop posting as much, which I didn't, clearly, thank God. But I think from a Low 15 perspective, because we've also built that from scratch, and for me, I think people love a good story and they love storytelling. So when you are creating your content, like try to, instead of just making it a hard sell, what I've seen works really well is when you're kind of informing people and telling them more about what you do and what goes behind the food, etc. So I think if you can engage people and, like Zorawar said, build strong content and keep it engaging, I think that is the key to just kind of and being consistent with it. So I think that's what really works.
I think from a creator's perspective, I think a lot of people have started worrying about the space being saturated. So I think that's one thing that you really need to kind of get out of your head, because there could really be something that is stopping you from giving your best. I believe that if you're bringing something new and something fresh to the table, and if you're making the effort of actually, interacting and connecting with your audience, you will find a space for yourself. So yeah, just stay true to, the content that you're putting out, and be consistent.
Super. We're just going to play a short game. It's a word scramble. So it's just like a fastest answer first. All of you can tell me whatever you
losing it already.
Okay, these are all words. Basically, I've scrambled a bunch of words, and they're all words related to the chat that we've had today. So basically, Instagram. All you have to do is unscramble the word, and the more words you unscramble,
do we raise a hand, or
yeah? I mean, you can just
tell.
Don't scream out
whoever
to
to go
answer.
Huh?
Or let's just all scream.
Cool. Okay, the first one is this.
Reels. Sorry.
Yes.
Good job, Pooja.
What did you say?
Good one.
Reels.
Oh, okay. All right.
Reels, Pooja 1, Zorawar 0, Shivesh 0. We're moving to the
Put
next.
on the pressure. We can't see.
We can't
Your screen is not popping. Yeah. Can you say something?
say something. Say something because we can't see, you don't talk.
No. Insights.
Oh, sorry. Here.
Okay.
Inside.
Oh, good job.
It's not fair. We couldn't see it. Okay.
Even I couldn't see it. Even I
Live,
couldn't
live.
see it. It was just, yeah.
You gotta talk, Smita, when you put it up.
Now you need to say something.
Okay, cool. So Shivesh 1, Pooja 1, Zorawar, you need to catch up.
It's not looking good for me
And
right
this
now.
is the third one.
Viral.
Wow.
Arey, but now it's not showing your
Shivesh
feet.
is a rule.
It's not showing for me.
It's
also.
not
I'm just looking at the
Too small.
Even I'm looking at the small
Stop
this thing.
cheating.
Pooja is getting serious competitive.
Yeah, I'm like, I
Seriously
can't.
competitive right now.
Come on. Okay, there's like one more left. So
Okay.
Zorawar, unfortunately, you have only this one chance to redeem yourself.
Okay,
But
so,
Pooja, if
Let's
you
blank
want
out their screens for now.
Okay, the next word is da-da-da. We were just talking.
Influencer.
influencer. Oh, he got it. Zorawar
So
got it.
why is there?
Oh, God.
Why is there? Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's a C.
Yeah. Okay. That's a C. I thought it's a
Sorry, you said
bracket.
it homegrown version.
Yeah. Got it.
Okay, awesome. Zorawar, wow, this is the tie. Zorawar 1, Pooja 2, Shivesh 2, and I don't have any more.
No, Pooja got 1, right?
Shivesh
Oh,
one.
not
Shivesh one.
Yeah, I won.
Awesome. So Shivesh, Shivesh 1 with 2 points, followed by Pooja with 1 and Zorawar with 1.
There was a tech
Congratulations.
glitch. I just want to say it's all your fault.
There is no tech glitch.
Lies. But anyway,
A lifetime supply of. Had you given us a lifetime supply of macaroons, we would have fought harder.
Yeah.
Pooja has not agreed to this. I'm just saying macaroon, and I'm gonna throw in like a truffle take burger as well. Shivesh.
Yeah.
Just to tell you, it's truffle take.
Truffle take.
Yeah.
Oh,
Shiitake, you thought shiitake.
shiitake.
Yeah, no, you're sensible. So you're not off that much. It's logical that you inferred that way, but it's truffle take.
I see. Okay, well, damn. Truffle take.
But
burger.
I'm getting both, basically.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. And thank you for joining us today for this session. To everyone who's listening in, stay tuned for more from the CNT Dine and Drink Festival.